Scene from Footloose, or you might want to call that movie Don't Knock the Rock on the Farm. It's one of 5 new movies you're going to be reviewing this week, and across the aisle from me is Gene Siskel, film critic of the Chicago Tribune.
And across the aisle from me, Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, in addition to Footloose, we'll also be reviewing Against All Odds, a sexy thriller starring Rachel Ward and Jeff Bridges. Also, The Complete Beatles, a retrospective of the famous group. And finally, Weekend Pass, 4 sailors on leave in Los Angeles. But first, Roger begins with...
For a Beatles fan, the whole movie is invaluable. It's just interesting. So I thought, anyway. Next at the movies, 4 sailors on a weekend pass.
There's nothing like that.
Our next movie is named Weekend Pass, and you got to give them credit. This is a great idea for a low-budget exploitation film. I wish I'd had this idea myself. They shot it on location in their own backyard, Los Angeles, so all they needed were 4 sailors, 4 rented Navy uniforms, a rented Jeep for the guys to drive around in, and of course, a lot of rented girls for the sailors to chase. That's pretty much the plot of Weekend Pass, and here's a scene where one of the sailors gets a taste of life in Los Angeles.
Into the drag. All right. And not only is he an animal, but he cracks jokes, too. All right. Yeah. Bunker Hill, United States Navy.
The movie has a pretty simple formula. First a fight scene, then a sex scene, then a slapstick scene, and the guys try to get blind dates. They call it massage parlors, and there's a cute scene where one sailor goes out with a girl who's obsessed with show business, and she table hops while he gets stuck with a bill. This is the kind of movie that in the good old days they used to make with Frank Sinatra and Gene Kelly as sailors, Anchors Away, but now it's the kind of quick, cheapy movie where the topless dancers get featured billing. What a complete waste of time.
It doesn't belong in the category with Anchors Away. I know you don't mean to say that it does, or On the Town. None of those pictures. This is low-rent stuff. They hired a film school graduate to make this picture, and it isn't even low-rent enough. It's, you know, this should be either a very sexy or a very funny film. It's not particularly funny. That wasn't much laughs there. And it's not very sexy. Every time they cut away from the sex scene, so it's not even a turn-on. It's just it is a cute idea. They blew it completely from every angle.
They'll make it again next year, though.
Okay, I hope so. So much for Weekend Pass. Now to recap our reactions to the movies on this show. We split on Lassiter, starring Tom Selleck. We split on Selleck himself, actually. Roger enjoying the performance. I thought he was too sweet for a thriller. 1 thumb up, 1 down. We also split on Footloose. Neither one of us believed the story, but the dancing made up for it. For me, not for Roger. We finally agreed on something, Against All Odds, with Rachel Ward and Jeff Bridges. A very sexy mystery. And we split on the Beatles documentary, The Complete Beatles. I thought it should have been more compelling about the later years. Finally, 2 downturned thumbs on Weekend Pass, a would-be sex comedy that is neither sexy nor funny.
So Against All Odds for both of us.
Very much so. I really was impressed with that film. I'd like to see it do well.
And then I liked the Beatles, and I also liked Lassiter, so I guess I had a good week.
Yes, you did.
Sorry about your week at the movies.
Yeah,
That's it for
me
this
too.
week. Next week at the